Thank you, everybody. Well, don't worry. I'm not going to ask you to remember all those long acronyms. You are excused from that. Thank you, Robin, for inviting me this evening. It was my privilege to be in New York back in 2005 when the UPF was launched. And at the time, it was the UN's 60th anniversary. And on the east side of town, along First Avenue, the world's political leaders were gathering for their General Assembly. And on the west side of town, in UPF's headquarters, you had the group led by the Reverend Moon. And he said at the time that he wished that the UN would open itself up for reform. Like most Koreans, Father and Mother Moon were in love with the UN. It was the United Nations forces that liberated Korea from the attack of the North back in 1950. But at the same time, he had the kind of frustration that all of us have when a good old friend starts to lose energy and focus. And of course, the UN had reached the same conclusion. 60 years on, we haven't been able to build peace. And the innovation that Reverend Moon brought at that time, or suggested at that time, was that the UN should introduce an upper house. Of course, there's the General Assembly filled with political leaders and the Security Council, but what's missing are the voices of all the other important parts of society. Religious leaders, sure, women leaders, youth. There are so many different facets towards making a peaceful world. And peace is much too important to be left to politicians and diplomats. It's all of our work, all of our task, which is why we're here this evening, because among all the different contributing groups of people that can make a difference, business leaders, charitable leaders, people who make their own way and who have found the path to success are extremely important. I don't know most of you, just had the chance to meet with Paul Clark, who comes from the same part of England that I do. But I do know that each of you has a long track record of living for the sake of others, of doing things to help people to fulfill a better life. I salute you for coming here in the midst of the Omicron crisis. Thank you for braving it out. I think that we're here this evening for important work. Let me just say a little bit about the IAED itself. That was rather a long video. But this organization is chaired by Jim Rogers, an international investor, philanthropist, based mostly in Asia. And it does have branches already in the United States, in Africa, in continental Europe, Japan, but we've been a little slow in establishing it here in the United Kingdom. So that's very important. And what are you here to do? Well, you'll hear a little bit more from my friend Abdul Basit, but you're not here just to watch a video or to consider the kind of work that this organization is doing. We are looking for partners. We are looking for people willing to make a stand. When I think of Britain, I'm both proud and ashamed. I'm proud of British freedoms. I'm proud of Britain's prosperity. Our charitable record, I think, is amazing. But at the same time, I'm a little bit ashamed because I think our country has become a little selfish, a little inward-looking, a little too concerned about our own good when we could be doing so much more for other nations and for the needy all over the world. I'm responsible actually for UPF in 71 nations, including places like Afghanistan, Yemen, Syria, Palestine, and the tears and the cries of people in those countries, of course, is on my mind all the time, probably on yours as well. So as we're here this evening, I hope that we can together come up with a vision of how we can make a difference, not just in Britain, but for that wider community of which we all hope Britain will play a leading role. Thank you very much.